America is being overrun by illegals. The good news, we get the bill. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, May the 21st. And as we are rapidly approaching Memorial Day and we're rapidly approaching a massive amount of illegal immigration, the woke companies are taking over. What are we going to do about it? That's what comes down to the real question is, what are you going to do about it as an American, as a taxpayer? Are you going to continue to get it stuck up your ass by the government that continues to steal your money? I think we have to look at these things in very serious terms. As Title 42 was expired, and of course they basically opened up the borders, allowing the inflow of illegal immigration, which were actually laws that President Obama put on the books, and of course President Trump upheld them. And we're now back into the same crap of allowing them to flood in. And it's not the good workers, it's the drug dealers, it's the criminals, the thieves, the ones that are destroying the very fabric of this country, which is why we ended up with sanctuary cities and all this other garbage that we have to deal with. You know, you want to worry about gun control, worry about not bringing in and importing your own criminals. The beautiful thing is that we get the bill, we get to pay for the right of having these people come into this country illegally. Okay, we get to see the borders overrun, and of course we see hotels being forced to house illegals. Okay, in fact, there was a story this week that a wedding had to be canceled from somebody who paid for it already, because the hotel was being overrun with illegals. Now we get the other good news is that they are going to be paid $300 per week with basically free health care. Now the question is why is an illegal immigrant allowed or worth or entitled to $300 per week that the government doesn't pay? Of course, you and me as a taxpayer get to pay. What happened to law and order in following the laws of this country and having people, you want to come into this country? Great, no problem. But what about going through the proper channels? You know, you're worried about the process. Why not speed up the process? And I think that, of course, this is all bringing in votes and ties into the reparations word, which now you've got Cori Bush, another far left member of the squad, who is again talking reparations in big, big numbers. Now, first of all, nobody alive today is entitled to reparations. Nobody was here when at the time they're supposedly trying to go for, but what are they really doing when they come in with reparations? Well, what they're really doing when they come with reparations is they are buying votes. Okay, let's get down to the simple brass tacks of it all. They are buying votes. Okay, by promising reparations, which I don't know that'll ever happen, especially at these ridiculous numbers they're now talking about. Okay, they're buying votes, and nobody's paying attention to the disaster that is going on in San Francisco. Nobody is paying attention to, we continue to hear about the wage differences and the difference in net worth between the rich and the poor. And of course, if you look at California, nowhere in the country is there as wide a difference between the haves and the have-nots, which is of course why the homeless population in California is so dramatically high. But yet we continue to hear nonsense being spewed by the left here. And of course, again, I am neither left nor right myself. I am down the middle, but I am getting sick and tired of footing the bill, for things that I have no part of, I had no part of, and I didn't want no part of. You want to take care of, you want to fix a lot of things in this country. The simplest thing would be to follow the Constitution and follow the law. Okay, but of course, what we found out is that you and me are not above the law, but illegal immigrants are above the law. Okay, so and in what world does that make sense? Okay, I mean, why are they entitled to benefits? They already get free health care when they get here because they have to be treated in the emergency room. And I have talked to many people during the week about this, and many of them, some of them are illegals. And I asked them what they think about it. And they think it's disgusting what is going on, because people are coming here for get something for nothing. Get something here for that you and I have to work for, they get for free. Okay? And then, of course, you bring in these woke companies. Now, the only way to stop the woke bullshit and all this crap that's going on in this country is to obviously boycott, is to obviously not, shop at the places or not do business with those that are woke. The problem with that is that many, many, many companies are of the woke variety, okay, because of course they're there for the money. Let's face it, okay, if you went to the CEO of most of these companies and you asked them what they really thought, they would not want to go to this woke. But of course, they don't care about that. They care about the money and of course the movement. And but there are companies that you can start to boycott. If you do a little research, you will see. But of course, listen, I don't expect you to give up your Apple iPhone, okay, or your Samsung Android. I mean, again, there's certain things that are going to be intertwined in your life, but you have to start somewhere. And I think you take a look at a company like Target, who is now a special department for transgender and a new product. It's you've heard of Untuck, the shirt? Well, now they got Tuck It for your putts, okay? For those transgender that want to wear a woman's bathing suit, they got a place to tuck it. Now, again, I am not a big fan of bringing in these groups that want to promote transgender and want to promote all these other characteristics that are not natural. Now, again, I don't say you shouldn't be or you can't be. I'm sure it is part of it. I do actually know a few people myself that are part of it. But at the end of the day, I don't think it should be taught to our children in second grade or in first grade or in third grade. Okay, I think it's something that should be brought up, if you want to bring it up, as kids mature and get older. Okay, you've got a transgender group that is passing out these kits to babies, to minors, that are without their parents' consent. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to start creating. Kids themselves are very susceptible to their environment. It's just like if you go back to hatred, right? To racism. Racism isn't, people aren't born racist. They are taught it from their families. They are taught it from what areas of the country they are from. But yet we continue to beat this same old dumbass bandwagon, okay? That we want to teach them something new, and we want to destroy the history of how we got there. So it doesn't make a lot of sense, okay? And of course, when you look at what's going on with the ignorance of our government, okay, but really it's not necessarily the ignorance of our government, it's the voters from behind the government. It's the people that don't give a shit about this country, that only care about themselves. And of course, we all know people that, listen, they get their new car every year, every 2 years. They do their thing, so they're not going to worry about it. But again, if you don't take care of something, it then becomes too late. And we're getting to that point as we continue to watch the destruction of small business, the destruction of freedom, and things being taken away from you. Okay, we have a case right now in Montana where Montana banned TikTok from the state. Now, I'm not a fan of TikTok, but I don't know that I'm so thrilled with the banning because, again, I don't believe in banning free speech. We talked about that many times here in the First Amendment, the free speech. But you've got the Washington Post still trying to push for this Russian collusion, which has been solved. Again, another bill that you and I get to pay eventually, because this all goes through these morons and these Senate committee hearings and whatever. You've got the country falling apart. Okay, you've got the Federal Reserve that's going to continue to hike rates. You have, they tell you they want to get the inflation rate to 2%. Well, we're at 20, the way I calculate. They calculate we're at 5, but still they've got to have enough rate hikes to get from 5 to 2. How are they going to get there without you and me paying the bill? Okay, existing home sales continue to collapse. There's no more, the banking deposits are falling apart. So here we are in a world being overrun by illegals. We're being overrun by woke companies. We're having the squad, the far left, trying to take your money, trying to turn this into a communist or a socialist or a Marxist country by also stealing your free speech. Okay. And of course, then we have the debt ceiling debate. Now, again, I'm sure it'll get solved. I hope it doesn't. Okay. I hope I'm wrong, but I've seen this movie before, and I hope I'm wrong because I'd love to see him shut the government down. Okay. I'm tired of paying for these idiots that really only care about one thing, and that is getting my money to line their pockets. Okay. So I think when you look at the mess that we're creating, and you look at the backstory of all these things, and then you watch a criminal like President Joe Biden and his family that continues to get away from it, well, they're still jumping after President Trump. Now, what is the difference between Trump and Biden? Okay, again, it doesn't make, the things are not logical at the way we attack in this country. Okay, and that's where you can see your freedom is being destroyed. If you look at it, if you look at the big picture, and I don't care which side of the aisle you sit on, but if you look at the big picture, we are being brainwashed, especially your children, through all the way through schools. They're being brainwashed to be liberals, and liberal's not a bad word, but they're being brainwashed to be socialist or communist or Marxist. And if that's what you want for your family going forward, if that's what you want, okay, this country to be, then you might as well just move to China. You might as well go move somewhere, some communist country, because America is the land of the free, okay, and the home of the brave. We fought for the rights that we have. If you want to continue to let this shit get on, well, then you're going to end up like everywhere else, okay, and not have the freedom nor the opportunity. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, May the 21st. We're going to stop at our break, and we'll be back with our market report right after the break. What up, everybody? Well, I hope you're having a great week, and it's extremely frustrating, but of course we have to always look for value for ourselves. And as you know, I have sponsors for the show, and we have brokerage partners. And again, I have many brokers, just to give you full disclosure, but I do believe in the two that I recommend to you each and every day and every week. And of course, number one is Capital Trading Group for futures and commodities. They're partners with us in our Day Trader's Dream, and they do a lot of good stuff for us. There's no better value, with no better service, with no better people than Capital Trading Group. Check them out, info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. And it's scrolling on the sides if I speak too fast. And trade your brokerage, again, for equities and options. First of all, $10 a month. How can you beat that? You have the opportunity to have your portfolio automated, so it trades by itself if you're a member of our portfolio program, and there is no cost to that. And of course, if you want to get our hedging software, then there is a licensing fee there, but there is no more cost to your brokerage. It's still $10 a month flat. And everything is automated for you. So certainly, you cannot do better than that. And when I look back at our high school program, which we're giving our last stitch effort to try to get Americans to understand that we need to educate our children. But of course, the unions and everything else have screwed us. But check us out, highschoolinvesting.com. You can check it out on the bottom, our link. And of course, it's also on our other links are on the side. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and our market report. Welcome back. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, May the 21st. And of course, Looks like markets are trying to break out. I tell you, it's interesting. I mean, again, when you look at the overall economy, when you look at what's going on, who could have thunk that markets would be looking to break out? And of course, last week we saw another rally where now the Nasdaq is on highs for the year, and of course the S&P is breaking out to the upside as well. Well, the Dow and the Russell still struggle. We are short too long too. We are long the S&P and the Nasdaq, and of course short the Dow and the Russell. And I guess we could see those change as well shortly. But at the end of the day, again, markets are markets, which is why you don't try to predict them. You don't try to fight them. You simply trade them as they come, or you invest into them as they come. In the meantime, as we look at the dollar, the dollar is moving higher again. We would be long dollars. Now again, we don't no longer trade it just because it's not a beneficial product, and there's all kinds of stuff going on with the NYSE and other. But in the meantime, we would be long. Of course, the euro currency we are now short and in pretty good shape, which is down for the week. Bitcoin, we're still short, and Bitcoin's under a little bit of pressure. Now again, I believe that Bitcoin is a big winner over time, but I can't say it is today. Bonds and notes. We're short bonds and long notes. Interesting spread, but actually that is actually a legitimate spread. But when we look at it, okay, again, interest rates are going higher, which means bonds and notes are eventually going to both go lower. And I do think that you're going to see the 10-year get to 6%. And the precious metals, gold, silver, and platinum. Gold is that we're short gold, we're short silver. Platinum we no longer trade, but as I said last week, if it gets to 1050, I'll be a buyer of platinum as a trade for myself. And of course, gold and silver, I still believe they're going much higher, but they have had some turbulence of recent vintage. So we'll continue to monitor that. And in the grain markets, it is ugly, and I think last week is a big example of ugliness. We saw the grains break down, and of course we're short them all again. This is a deflationary cycle, which is not healthy for markets. It's the worst of all deflations. Deflation is the worst. Many farmers are getting to the point where the input is costing them more than they will get paid to output it. So again, it's very bad. We're going to get to a point here, but it is getting very, very scary. And of course, the cattle markets, cattle prices remain pretty steady, which we would be long. And again, that's more because of a shortage than anything else, because the hog market continues to be under pressure. So it appears that people are getting their protein in other places. Then there's not enough beef because there's a shortage, which is why prices are high. Hogs continue to get slammed. And I would assume that we're seeing, more of a demand in poultry and things like that, but because people are going to get their protein somewhere. And in net gas, we're still short. It looks like it's trying to pop a little bit, but we're still short. And crude, we're still short. And I think that you're going to see, a pretty big pop here coming. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of days you would see OPEC cut production once again. In the softs, cotton is lower still. We're still short. Cocoa is higher. We're long. Sugar has been lower. We're short. Coffee's lower, short, and OJ's been lower, and we are still short OJ. So again, you can kind of get a pretty good idea, but it does look like things are starting to break out. I would watch cotton and some of the commodities is one that looks like it's breaking out to the upside. And I think you have to be very careful here and take care of your cash. Because again, right now, if you look, people would be in CDs. There's a lot to it, and we'll get to that in our commentary. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. Top Bubba Horowitz. It is Sunday, May the 21st, and we're going to step out here for our final break and come back with our commentary and our selection for the NBA game tonight. Well, kids, again, I'm not going to go through the whole spiel, but you remember our sponsors and our partners, Capital Trading Group, for futures and commodities, Trade Your Brokerage for equities and options. By far the two best in the entire industry, although I have many, and of course our high school program. Check it out. Again, we're trying to help educate America. It's getting very frustrating and sad at what's going on, but we're doing the best we can. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horowitz. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz. And of course, here we are and watching this ridiculous illegal immigration, watching his money disappear into thin air, watching all kinds of problems. And of course, we have the continuation of nobody cares. And I think when we look at the bigger picture, we're watching a system that is in total breakdown. And I think that, again, this is going to be one of the things that's going to destroy this country. I think as we look into the near future and we watch, I mean, nobody could imagine that markets could be moving higher, but we have this so much hatred being created by this administration and so many issues to deal with that it is doing nothing but burning through capital from the debt ceiling and through all these things that we have to be concerned with. And really, they don't have to be concerned with it because they don't really pay it. Remember, it comes back down to you and me, the American taxpayer, who fund all of these ridiculous programs. And when you look at the amount of your paycheck, they continue to take away from you, okay? All for these programs that have no benefit to you and are really just an attempt to buy votes for every election, okay? This is the problem with the system and with the way we run right now, because we don't have term limits. You have career politicians that are career thieves is really what they come down to. So it's really up to you. If you're happy with what's going on in this country, well, listen, I can't tell you not to be happy. If you're happy, great. As me, I think what is going on in this country is disturbing, disgusting, and it is totally has no regard for America, for the capitalism of America, for the way that America was built, and the reason that we went to war in 1776. So again, it is on you. But if you want to continue to see all this illegal immigration, which you're paying for, all these woke companies trying to pitch your children who are still and have not defined who they are to be something that they're not, well, then, hey, I can't stop you. But certainly, from my point of view, this is very disturbing. It's depressing. And to me, it will be the death of the American way if we don't stop it now. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz, and of course, it is Sunday, and we have a basketball game, and we have the Boston Celtics, who continue to get throttled by the number 8 seed Miami Heat. And again, we're going to say that we're going to take the points with Miami again, and maybe they'll go up 3-0 today. In the meantime, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we will see you next weekend, Memorial Day weekend. In the meantime, we'll see you tomorrow for, of course, our Bubba's Day update. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you later.